Okay, so we can see over here there are few employees with zero basic salary. Probably their profiles are not complete. So you can add the pay right here. But please remember, the system does know what country and how much now, but all the other formulas the system does not know, like to calculate the CPF, to calculate the STL for Singapore. I'm giving an example. The system does not know. All that information is missing, so the system will not function properly. So ideally, I should go into the employee profile, fill it up properly, and then generate the pay slips. So this is where all the basic, all the fixed allowances and deduction, these are set in the employee profile employment tab. These are appearing over here. If I want to manually add any overtime in their account, manually meaning I did not approve the compensation from the attendance, but I want to manually add in, that I can do. If these people are paid by check, I can add the check number. And if I want to show any remarks on the additional page, a summary page of the pay slip, I can add those remarks over here. Now remember, if I had approved any compensations, those will appear automatically in the system. I didn't have to manually enter those. Now these insufficient attendances are appearing because I have enabled the undertime policies for these employees. I'm just going to remove those so that we don't have any confusion later on. For this particular person, I'm going to change the amount to 100 to show you that we can override whatever deduction it is there. This is incentive that this person has actually probably done either the roster or completed X number of hours based on the incentives that we had set in the settings. Over here, we can enable all the commissions that we have set in the employee profile. There will be different type of commissions. Like over here, it is based on percentage. Over here, it is based on quantity. If I will set one quantity, whatever we have set in the profile per unit, it will give the amount. If I will put 2 units, it will calculate the amount. If I will go by percentage, let's say this is a sales commission percentage, it will automatically add. If I want to add any other additional wages or allowances, that I can add from here: bonus, director fee, retirement, or XYZ. And then you have your own list that you have created in the settings that will appear over here. Please remember, anything you add over here, these will be counted as additional wages. That means these will be subjected to CPF. Um, these will be CPF payable. And if I will remove anything from here, these will also affect the CPF in inverse way. That means it will deduct from the gross salary, um, and then the CPF will also be less. Okay, so this will affect directly the CPF calculation or the CPF amount. Now, those who don't know about this, ordinary wage is my basic salary. Gross wage is my additional salary plus my ordinary salary. Additional salary includes the bonuses, overtimes, commissions, and there are a few other things. Those are normally counted as additional wages. The only thing that we don't count as additional wage is normally the reimbursements, like claims reimbursement, medical claims reimbursement, and all those things that we will talk about under the post CPF. Okay, so you can type in the amount over here. If let's say you forgot to add in the category over here from the setting, I can select others and I can type in whatever I want, and then I can type in the amount I want to give. And the same I can do for the rest of the employees. Moving on quickly, post CPF additions and deductions. Now, if I had approved any claims like we did before starting this bulk payroll, those are appearing over here. Um, and if I want to add anything manually from here, bonus that we don't want to add into the gross salary to calculate the CPF and eventually the IRAT, EIS also, meaning the income taxes. or anything else that we want to. Normally, like I said, bonuses are subjected to CPF, but in some cases that the nature of the employment of this employee is not as such that it requires the tax submission or CPF submission. It could be, for example, self-employed, right? So self-employed directors and all those people, they don't have this condition that they must pay the CPF. There are some conditions, right? That's why we have this option. Um, okay, over here, I would show you one more thing. Let's say you want to add bonus over here for almost all the employees. So how many times are you going to add bonus, 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 bonus? What you can do, you can download um, a payslip um, over here, import payslip. So we can actually import the components. We can download the template into the system, and then we can add the component type, for example, basic salary, additional, or there is actually a fixed list that we can choose from. Post CPF allowance, additional deduction, additional allowance, overtime, post CPF, and things like that. Once we have filled this up, we can import it from here. Uh, okay, we can attach that same file over here, and then all the components that you have added, including the other allowances, deductions, post CPF allowances and deductions, will be imported into. So you don't have to, click one by one and add those allowances. Now, if I have checked this box, all the employees with the zero basic salary or net salary being zero will be avoided. Okay, so the system will not generate the payslip for all the people who will have net salary as zero. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it as is, and then yeah, sorry, I missed it. I will click over here once it stops loading. Okay, let's do the OCPF again. Like I showed you, all the claims that we had imported, sorry, rather approved, those will be appearing over here, and all the other post CPF deductions like CDSE, MBMFs, INDAS, all those SHG groups. If I want to add anything over here, I can do that. If I want to remove from here as post CPF, I can do that. Then the component selector is, let's say I want to generate the basic salary alone. Okay? So I can actually select and deselect the components that I don't want to include, uh, or I just want to generate the overtime payslip, not for the basic and anything else. I can actually uncheck from here, and all the employees will only have, like, let's say I kept only the overtime, then this payslip will only have the overtime. So in some companies, what they do, they generate two payslips, one for the only for the overtime, that is in the middle of the month, and at the end of the month they generate one full payslip, but that does not really include the overtime and the rest of the thing like basic salaries and all those things. And then they pay the CPF after that. So all the data is collected at the end of the month, and then they do the CPF payment. You can deselect the other allowances, or you can deselect the post CPF allowance components. Now, when I will click on the review payslip, the system is now doing all the math, and it's calculating the salaries. So it's going to take a bit of time. Normally, it takes about couple of seconds per entity, per entry. So there are X number of employees, so it takes about 2 seconds each record. Now, there are three buttons over here. You might have been noticing this save changes button all along. So what it does is, if I will click on this save changes, and let's say I've done all the edits and everything, and I want to get it proofread by somebody else, I will save changes, and then I will ask somebody else to proofread it for me. Or more importantly, I want to stop working on this today and I want to come back tomorrow and I will want to resume from there. If I click over here, save changes, so the changes are saved. I can log out from the computer. I can shut down the computer. I can come back tomorrow. As soon as I will go to bulk payroll or pay slips over here, I will see this retrieve data button. And when I click over here, all the changes, all the payroll, all the calculations that I had added, those will be preserved for me to resume from the same point I left off.